Thanks for joining me again this week. In just the last month or so, the county has worked with its partners to help add close to 400 affordable housing units to the county inventory. First, there was Allium Place in Wheaton. This week, we celebrated the opening of close to 200 new apartments called the Residences at Forest Glen. This complex, built by MHP and other partners, is for residents earning less than 60% of area median income. In many cases, when a new apartment complex is approved, developers are required to set aside up to 15% of units as affordable. With this project, 100% of the apartments are considered affordable. This is a win for working families, our teachers, healthcare workers, and retail industry workers. When we devote public money to housing, this is what we should be trying to accomplish. We want Montgomery County to be enjoyed by people of all income levels and not be priced out of living here. This is far from the last effort to create more affordable housing either. The Chimes of North Bethesda will create another 163 units of affordable housing soon. We've also committed tens of millions of dollars over the next few years to help develop a multifaceted project in Wheaton that will create 39 townhomes and 320 multifamily units, as well as new office space and an arts and cultural center along Georgia Avenue. We're also getting money from the state to help support the start of this project. We're in the planning stages now, but it won't be long before construction begins. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, though, let's celebrate what we've accomplished. Forest Glen is modern, it's dignified, and it allows more of our neighbors to remain right here in our community. I want to thank MHP and nonprofits like them that worry about helping everybody enjoy Montgomery County. MHP was able to use federal tax break support obtained through the state to help make the math work on this project. And speaking of math, I continue to appreciate the production of our housing team led by Dr. Scott Bruton, Director of our Department of Housing and Community Affairs. They continue to deliver these projects efficiently and create more affordable housing as quickly as we can. They help us spend our limited resources wisely. Sometimes it's hard to see old buildings have to go, but in this case, the condition of the old complex allowed us to justify building something new and designing more units than were there before. I consider this a great victory for our community and the people who call it home. They are within walking distance of a metro station, along several bus lines, and next to a state highway. It's a perfect place for families to live, thrive, and stay for a long time. I want to say a little bit about one of the factors contributing to the shortage of affordable housing in the county. Back in the year 2000, we had about 45,000 naturally occurring housing units, meaning that they were affordable without any subsidies, any buy-downs, or any special county programs. Rents were just more reasonable. But that has changed, and by 2025, we had lost at least half of what was affordable. There were two main causes: rising rents that exceed the inflation rate, and redevelopment of affordable units into market rate buildings with less affordability. A Montgomery County preservation study detailed in this graphic shows how analysts have forecasted a loss of another 14,000 to 18,000 naturally occurring units by 2030. That means we could have as few of 7,000 of those original 45,000 units left in just 5 years. We had 45,000 naturally occurring affordable housing units in 2000. Failing to act on rent stabilization sooner really cost us. We had the units in place to serve more of our community, but now we are trying to catch up to where we had in place just 2 decades ago. The cost of replacing these units is far greater than it would have cost us to simply keep the price of rent in check. I want to congratulate the leaders and employees of X Energy who announced this week some big changes. It will move its corporate headquarters from Rockville to Gaithersburg, putting its offices closer to a new building bought in Frederick County for testing. The company is a leading developer of advanced small modular nuclear reactors. It uses a proprietary fuel technology to simplify the modular devices and that are aimed to deliver reliable, zero-carbon, affordable energy. What used to take immense power plants to produce can now be created on multiple small sites. This innovative approach expands the applications and markets for nuclear technology, driving enhanced safety, lower cost, and faster construction timelines. It's an intelligent way to meet the growing needs for energy driven by artificial intelligence. X-Energy just announced that it collected $700 million in financing to help grow from companies like Amazon and institutions like the University of Michigan. They're investing some of that money here in reactor design and licensing, and then finishing the first phase of fuel fabrication facility in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Even while expanding its vision and footprint, X-Energy will retain its 260 full-time employees at its new corporate headquarters, with plans to increase to at least 525 new jobs over the next 6 years along the I-270 corridor. The Maryland Department of Commerce is working to approve 2 conditional loans totaling $2.35 million through Advantage Maryland. Montgomery County is providing up to $500,000 through its Job Creation Fund program and up to $150,000 through its MOVE Grant program. The company is also eligible for other state and local tax breaks. These are smart investments between the county and the state, bringing hundreds of good-paying jobs while also strengthening our region as a center for innovation. We're gearing up now for National Night Out next Tuesday, August 5th. It's an important opportunity to meet with law enforcement and first responders who serve our community. It's one of the busiest nights of the year with community groups, county departments, and neighborhood activists using that night to promote safety and unity. Over 24 events are happening in the community, from the Kentlands to the Caulfield Community Center to the East County Regional Services Center and up to Olney. We have a lot to celebrate in 2025. After 3 consecutive years of rising crime through 2023, we saw a 7% drop in 24, and so far this year, overall crime is down 13% from the same period last year. That's a lot of good news, but we don't want to stop this progress. I want to thank MCPD for achieving and sustaining these decreases while also dealing with significant department vacancies. The department has also implemented 85% of the recommendations that were outlined in the Reimagining Public Safety Initiative that we first started to track in 2021. Another 11% of those recommendations made by the consultants after an independent review of the department are being processed now in the direction of being implemented. More than 1 million calls to 911 for help have been made within the last 18 months. That keeps our officers busy, but we're also strategic in how we use technology to help our department cover such a large jurisdiction. We've launched the Real-Time Intelligence Center, which allows analysts to collect information so that our officers can respond to our situation in real time. Our Drone as First Responder program continues to expand and help more of our residents and officers in emergency and non-emergency situations. We also have our community to thank for helping us by granting us limited access when requested to more than 1,600 cameras mounted on their houses in the neighborhoods across the county for crime prevention purposes. As compared to last year, property theft is down 13% and motor vehicle thefts are down 25%. However, some crimes happen like clockwork. We see a rash of car break-ins every summer, and this summer is no exception. Please remember not to leave valuables in your car. Unfortunately, the DC region has been popular with car theft rings over the last few years, justifying our purchase of more license plate readers to help our police identify stolen cars in the area, because they are often used to commit other crimes. DUIs, another crime that rises with the season, is something that we're paying attention to now. We have more officers on the road right now looking for the signs of intoxicated drivers. This special enforcement began around Memorial Day and has resulted in more than 900 traffic stops and over 127 DUI arrests. I want to echo the comments of County Council President Kate Stewart earlier this week and express appreciation to the 3rd District police officers who recently prevented a suicide attempt from a parking garage. Both the officer and the individual were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries, but the officer has since been released. This could have ended very badly if it weren't for the action of these officers. Mental health problems can lead to tragic incidents in an instant. We need everyone struggling and those who love them to text 988 for assistance when they have a mental health crisis. This incident also reminds us that our police officers are not just police officers. They're called upon to be social workers. They need to understand the law as well as a lawyer, practice mediation and de-escalation techniques, as well as a professional mediator or therapist, and they need to be community ambassadors and work with and respect the residents they serve. Let's just say it's a tough job. Over my last 6 years as county executive, I've repeatedly said how good MCPD's reputation is in this county and throughout the region. I think that is because they're always engaged, listening, and caring about what's going on in our communities. This week, I was joined by MCPD's Assistant Chief, Nicholas Augustine, to talk about some trends that you're seeing that may impact you.
So far in 2025, there have been over 2,800 thefts from autos across the county. This crime cannot be solved alone by the police department. We need the community's help. We remind everyone to lock up every time, even when parked at home. Don't leave valuables in sight. Remove key fobs and spare keys. Park smart. Choose well-lit, busy areas, and avoid isolated lots and dark streets when possible. Also, don't leave your car running unattended. Montgomery County Police will continue to deploy extra patrols in areas experiencing higher rates of auto-related crimes and provide community alerts through social media and community meetings to keep you informed of patterns or suspect descriptions.
I want to again invite you to seek out a nearby National Night Out event next Tuesday. It really is a great opportunity to meet the men and women, not just in the police department, but across our county government. Some events are registered with natw.org, the National Night Out website. I want to talk to you a little bit about some deeply troubling news coming out of Washington. Probably no surprise to many of you, but it's something that affects all of us, our children, and the future of this planet. Right now, the Trump administration's EPA is moving to eliminate the federal government's ability to regulate greenhouse gas emissions under the Clean Air Act. This is a direct attack on decades of environmental progress. With this policy change, they're trying to throw out the 2009 endangerment finding, which is the legal foundation that lets the federal government regulate dangerous pollutants like methane and carbon dioxide from power plants, vehicles, and from industry. Without that finding, the EPA cannot do its job. The job is protecting us from carbon dioxide and other dangerous pollutants that are overheating our planet, poisoning our air, and making our weather extreme and more dangerous. The Supreme Court decided back in 2007 that the EPA can regulate these pollutants under the Clean Air Act as long as they were a danger to human health and the environment. Saying climate pollution isn't a danger doesn't stop the danger. It just strips away the protections that we depend on. For example, vehicles sold in Maryland overall have to be made to emit less carbon pollution because of the Clean Air Act regulations. The cars you buy can belch more carbon pollution if the Trump administration proposals succeed. This policy announcement comes as we're experiencing the consequences of climate changing through record heat, massive floods, wildfires, and wild storms made worse by warmer oceans. We're witnessing how a warming planet impacts our weather, and ignoring the measures to keep it from getting worse is only going to make it worse. People will pay the price. The EPA administrator even said this is the most consequential day of deregulation. They mocked the safety rails that have been put in place over the last 15 years as climate change religion. Meanwhile, they're the ones following a reckless ideology. Climate change isn't a religion. Climate change and the dangers of greenhouse gases and other pollutants are facts based in science. They're not ideological positions. Decisions to protect the environment were and are based in science. Now they're simply pretending that GHGs and other pollutants are harmless to the planet or to human beings. They're not looking out for public health or for the environment. They're trying to score political wins at the expense of our air, our water, and our future for their corporate overlords. It doesn't matter what science says. They want to be blind to what they know so that the harm our companies do to our environment is made possible. This administration seems determined to gut every tool we have to fight climate change. We have to stand up to this madness, because if not, the planet and our children will see a very different world when they grow up. It's about whether the government still works for the people or just for polluters. We can still use our voice to organize, be heard, and reverse these insane policies before it's too late. Last week, I had a chance to hear from many of the Montgomery County Public School students who spent the last month learning about our government from the inside. They were embedded in departments across the county, learning from our employees and seeing how we serve you every day. I got an interesting report for them on what they noticed and what we can change in our day-to-day operations to reach more people and better serve Montgomery County. This year, my office hosted 3 Summer Rise students who showed initiative and creativity in the assignments they were given. As a former teacher, I love to hear about our county from their perspective. Normally, I can sit down and do an on-camera interview with each of our students, but this year, there's only time for one. I hope you watch it on your YouTube page or as we share the conversation on social media. Please realize there are many more students who are better prepared for the working world than the rest of their time in school, thanks to the Summer Rise program. It's a great program, and I encourage more parents to support the initiative so MCPS realizes its impact on our community. So that's a wrap for today. I hope you're having a great summer, and I'll be back again next week. In the meantime, take care.